All right, cool. Okay, so we're live on YouTube and Instagram for the first time ever. That's really cool. All right, so I just wanted to jump into a few different topics today. And always, all information, knowledge, and wisdom that is shared here is for the overall well being and upliftment of humanity. Just going to wait a couple more moments just to see if anyone pops on. Alrighty, so where to begin? So if you've noticed recently, there's been a huge, I know it sounds stereotypical, but a big shift has been going on, but like another one. Um, and I'm noticing that this spiritual journey is going in waves, right? You wake up to one thing, you wake up to another thing, then you wake up to that first thing being false or different. And this is something that I've experienced. Hey, my friends, relatively recently, the things that I thought were concrete have taken on a different form, and a different energy is being asked of the collective at this moment. And there's a wave of what I would call non-dualistic maturity, meaning even a couple of months ago, if you guys go back on my Instagram, you look at some of the things I was talking about, there was a lot of conversation about, fallen technologies, artificial life grids, artificial flowers of life, all those things. And what I've come to realize is, yes, that's true, but that in and of itself can become a looping, recycling pattern. The focus on one thing, whether it's good or bad, ends up, it could easily become the story, right? And the story becomes your prison. So the things we tell ourselves over and over again are the houses we live in, mentally and spiritually. So I've observed within myself this letting go of all narratives of distortion, fallen mechanics, all the kind of cosmic drama. And I've seen this now as an opportunity for me to become more fully integrated within my being. Um, I'll use the example, like if one of my kids throws a toy at me, or they're yelling and screaming and they're having a bad day and they're just, kind of all over the place. In that moment, on one level of awareness, someone could say that's a bad kid, or that's, there's something wrong, or there's a distortion within them, right? Or within anyone. Let's not put on the kids, but with anyone who acts like that, we would make up these stories and these narratives to make it easier for us to relate to what's going on. And in the example here of a kid or a child acting out, throwing toys, yelling, and screaming, there's also another layer of reality that says, I can observe this. I understand what's happening. The kid's tired. They need food. They need a hug. They're just whatever, having a bad day. And there's no character judgment. There's no character assessment in regards to the kid. Meaning, we don't demonize. We don't put down. We don't say the kid should be this way or that way, right? So I want to take this example and move it over towards the spiritual community, myself included. Why is it that we would need a certain narrative to be true in order for us to be fully in our knowing? Why do we need there to be a fallen system? Why do we need there to be a inorganic timeline, whatever it is, right? So it's easy to fall into these narratives, right? And it's, of course, like I said, I found myself doing this. But what I've come to realize is that that's only true in the bandwidth and in the reality that it's playing out. It's not ultimately true. Okay. Ultimately, these are all stepping stones for us to get into that next oscillation, that next harmonic universe, that next state of being. And if we can let go of hey, life force portal, yay, what's up, my friend? Yeah, so if we can let go of the need to demonize anything or put down anything. Now that doesn't mean you're not aware of it. Like, you can be totally aware that something simply doesn't work based on the mathematics being used, or based on a sequence, right? You can. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that if you pour water into a cup and dump that water out, that it's going to make a mess. That mess in and of itself isn't bad. It isn't good. It is what it is, right? So the same is true with our spiritual journey. We're going to learn things about the spiritual matrix, about supposed fallen beings, about technologies that don't have humanity's best interest at heart. We're going to learn about all those things. But the second we stay in there, and we always need to constantly be talking about it, pointing it out, telling people to watch out for it, telling people to, that's hijacked, that's manipulated, that's when we lose the sense of self, and we really re-identify ourselves as no different than the thing that we're saying to watch out for. And so, where you can observe, again, that water being poured out of the cup and recognizing, oh, that's going to make a mess, you clean it up, you move on with your life. The same is true with our spiritual journey. You can be aware that maybe there's a symbol or code, the Metatronics flower of life or whatever. Maybe that doesn't resonate with you, and there's potentially a great reason for it. But what I find is that it's very easy for that same idea to become an imprisoning consciousness, in the sense that that's all you're seeing. In your attempt to not see it, that's all you're seeing. That's all you're drawing into your field, and you're always on the lookout. Like, is this manipulated? Is that manipulated? Is that hijacked? Is this eternal or whatever? Instead of being what you are, right? So whenever you are what you are, there's nothing that can happen to you. The sun is not worried about how many clouds are in the sky. The sun is not worried about how many rainstorms. It's not worried about anything other than itself. It's simply being, right? It's continuing to emanate its essence into the world. And on some days you can feel that sunshine, on other days you can't. But that doesn't mean the sun itself has decided that it's going to go fight the clouds, right? Or try to disprove or debunk, or try to tell people to watch out for the clouds. The sun doesn't care what the clouds are doing. So I want to offer this invitation that we are moving into a new wave. This is why I call this video, Here Comes the Tide. We're moving into a new wave of consciousness, where the last couple years has only been stepping stones for us to understand where the heck we are in time, and how this place that we're in, how it operates. It was never meant to be a place that keeps you stuck only looking at one thing. There was a quote I heard a while ago. It said something like, whenever you take on the ideals of a spiritual belief or something, you become the spiritual prisoner of that belief. Okay, you can call this any religion in the world, anything, right? Whenever you are only looking out for, let's say, a fallen technology, right? Speaking in the terms of all the kinetic science and everything. If all that you're trying to do is, if you're trying to become an eternal being, if you're trying to follow a specific code, a specific frequency so that you can become eternal, I learned from experience, you're missing the point. The point isn't to reach for God or reach for source. The point is to be what you truly are, and to allow that to be the guiding principle in your life. So there's this new wave of energy. I'm looking back and forth because I'm on Instagram, and I'm also here on YouTube. So this is my first time going live on YouTube. I hope you guys are finding this to be okay and enjoyable to a degree. I don't know if anyone is still on here, but can you let me know if you can hear me on YouTube? Okay. So there's this new wave of energy on the planet, and I think my kiddos are downstairs. So you have to be able to literally tune into it. Meaning, at one point in time, I really thought that it was, I shouldn't be looking at certain things, or I shouldn't be doing certain things. The moon was hijacked, and that was hijacked, and this was manipulated, and that was, hey, Quirky, you would pop in right now. That's so funny. Um, and I talked about all this stuff all the time. You guys can look back, but I see this now as only a learning curve or a learning experience that I had to go through in order to eventually let it go, in order for it to all actually fall away. Because God and Source, whatever you want to call it, it's never not present. It's never not here. You know, and this new wave that I'm talking about, this has everything to do to learning how to manipulate in a positive and a pure way the ether, and understanding how to actually utilize this energy as a creator being would actually do. It has nothing to do with pointing out who's hijacked and who's fallen, and if the moon is this or if the moon is that. That's only a lens that exists at a certain frequency band, right? And I'm coming on here today to say that, guys, I've changed. I've been going through a huge transformation, and I know there's some people in the Christic community that'll say that, oh, you're just getting influenced by the dark energies or whatever it is. I know that's not true. I know that at the most core and fundamental level, if you are seeing the moon, or if you're seeing a system as hijacked or fallen, what you're seeing is really you're fighting against yourself. You're seeing the reflection of yourself, meaning not that you're hijacked, not that you're fallen, but that you have not yet integrated that true non-dualistic principle, meaning you understand now that this is a plane of reality. And I say plane specifically because now I don't think the earth is flat, but what I do think is that we are living in a frequency bandwidth, and that outpictures many different ways. So the plane of reality that we are experiencing, on this plane right here, in this plane, the moon is siphoning our energy. This is bad for you. Watch out for Metatron's cube. Don't do this, don't do that. Okay? That all exists only within this plane. On this plane of reality, you're now understanding, you can see now that what's happening here is just a part of the journey. It's another step. It's another step. Okay, you're not trying to demonize it, push it down, telling people to watch out for it. You are rising and transcending. That's the key word I keep coming back to, is transcendence, right? You're transcending old natures, old thoughts, okay? Where now I can totally feel comfortable with the full moon, or I can feel totally comfortable with walking into a space and maybe there's the flower of life on the wall. A couple months ago, I would have been like, nope, gotta walk the other way. But if you really think about what's happening here, if you can't look at something, and if you can't still within your being be whole and complete and in your totality, then yes, you are falling victim to that, right? In order to really be an integrated, transcendental being, to catch this next wave that's here, we have to let go of all the narratives and all the stories that we have told ourselves. It doesn't mean that those stories and narratives weren't true. It means they were true only on a certain bandwidth, on a certain frequency. But it's okay, because now I can look at a technology, I can look at what some would call fallen, and I know that I'm good, because I know that I'm good, right? You understand what I said? Like, I know that I'm good because I know that I'm good. Meaning I'm pure, I'm innocent. There's nothing that anything in this realm or in any realm can truly take away. You cannot, if you have a bowl of water, right? Let's say you take a drop out of this water and you just move it over to here. It's still within the same bowl of water. Okay, so source can't take away from itself. It can't manipulate itself. Okay, it can manipulate itself, it depends on, but it can't like take anything away, right? So if I am at one within my own sphere, within my knowing, within the cosmos, within this planet, my family, if that is true, then who or what has the power to do anything? There's nothing, right? In order for us to feel like we can be siphoned, that would imply that there is something other than the spark of creation that has the power to now override that spark of creation. And that simply logically cannot true. One wave in the ocean is not going to somehow make another wave in the ocean turn into, I don't know, sand, right? You see what I'm saying? Now, this is a concept that it's really hard to downstep this understanding and this new wave of energy into this physical realm, but it's necessary. That's why I've hopped on here to offer an energetic invitation to people who are ready to step into this new wave, because it's here and it's rolling strong, right? So, in other words, why do we feel like the moon can siphon our energy? I wrote a quote the other day, and I said that you're never fighting against someone else. You're only ever fighting against and resisting your own true nature. That's it. That's all that's happening at any given time. You're only resisting your true nature. Because once you really understand and integrate your true nature, there's this feeling of like, oh, okay, I'm good. I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to debunk anything. I just can just exist and emanate. I can transcend all these limiting thought forms. People want to be concerned about the moon. That's great. They want to be concerned about what other people eat. That's great. They want to be concerned about other people's medical procedures. That's great. You can be concerned and distract yourself with all these things. You can be concerned about what your kids are doing, talking to myself, right? Concerned about whatever. There's always going to be a distraction to keep you away from the very simple understanding that you are that which cannot be denied, destroyed, or, anything. You are it at all times. Okay? So there's a quote in the Bible that says, I walk with God, so therefore I can walk anywhere, or something like that, right? So meaning, again, if I walk into a room, I don't have to be concerned about other people siphoning my energy, because I don't believe that's possible anymore. In my realm of reality right now, I don't believe it's possible for people to just siphon my energy. I believe that you can become tired and you can simply not want to hang out with people and you don't want to engage. That's true, yeah. But the idea of siphoning an energy is only relative to a certain frequency. It's only relative to those who have not. That concept has served a beautiful and powerful purpose. It has served a beautiful and powerful purpose for us to understand that, oh, wait, until I fully come into my own self, I'm going to experience that I'm not within my own self. I'm going to create situations, stories, and narratives within my own mind that then project, or that I'm projecting into reality, that then make it seem like, oh, someone's taking my power. Like, no, they're not. Your power can't be taken. True power cannot be taken. It just doesn't that's the whole point of power. Just like there is no death, death isn't an illusion. It just simply doesn't exist, because form only change, not form, but spirit is only changing form at any given time. Okay. It's never dying. Even in this, as some would say, limited matrix, this matrix has it's been a beautiful creation that we have organized to help us remember the very concepts I'm bringing forth here. True transcendence has nothing to do with anything other than a being recognizing and remembering itself. That's transcendence. Anything else that trickles down and out from that is icing on the cake. Because now I'm recognizing that there are really powerful technologies that are waiting to be utilized, but you have to be at a certain frequency to actually understand them. It's so simple. It's actually the most simplest things I've ever learned or read about or remembered. It's very, very simple understandings of how the universe works. It has nothing to do with base 10, base 12. It's all to do with what is. There is a divine intelligence. I really do believe that. But in order to really understand how to become a creator being and to reclaim that power that you have, all of the cobwebs of the narratives and of the stories have to be nullified. You have to return back to that childlike purity, that curiosity, and then it's revealed to you. It really is revealed to you. The right people start to show up. The right books start to show up. The right dreams start to take place because you have now detached from needing to protect yourself and being scared of who's around the corner, if the boogeyman's going to get you, if some angel's going to do something to you. It's like, do you really think that, let's use a superhero, for example. You really think that whenever Superman goes into any battle, or even Clark Kent for that example, he has anything to fear? No, because he knows he's powerful, right? When you know you're powerful, nothing, like, you're good. It cancels each other out. They know that you're powerful. And so it creates this 0 point harmonization. It's almost as if things only show up in our reality as let me see if I can get this, as a psychological mirror to the old technologies that we're holding. It's like pointing it out, so it's like, let me see if I can think of a good example. Let's just use the moon, right? The moon's siphoning my energy. Here comes the full moon. I feel drained. I feel tired. All the parasites in my stomach are going crazy. That is a holographic feedback loop telling you this is still a thought form that you hold in your mind. In and of itself, the moon is nothing. It's not doing. It can't do anything. It can only do something to you if you believe it can do something to you. Now, I know this because I had a vision. I wrote it down a couple of weeks ago. I was told that this moon is the second moon. This is not the moon that was originally here. That originally the moon and the sun used to work in tandem. They used to work in beautiful harmony and beautiful synchronization. Now, I can hear people telling, I'm sure when I get all these messages about, well, Chris, last, a couple of weeks ago, you were saying this. And yes, you're right. You're right. That's the whole point. The whole point is that you evolve and that you transcend and that you look back and you say, does this still work for me? Yes or no? And then from there, you can choose how you want to move forward, right? So I'm choosing to look at my life and the things I've been talking about through this page and all the work I've been doing. Doesn't make sense. Some of it is outdated. I found new technologies that make what I was talking about look like gibberish. It's actually beautifully silly to see, like, wow, all that time, it was all right here. So I really do want to get back to saying, like, it's not that people aren't going to have experiences where yucky things or bad things are happening. I fully want to recognize that people might actually, they might have an experience like being hijacked. They might have an experience where an entity is trying to do stuff to them. That's all valid in your frequency bandwidth of reality. It really is. On that plane of existence, that kind of thing happens. Okay? But I'm talking about the leveling up where this new wave of energy is coming in that's asking the people on this planet, are you ready to actualize yourself? Are you ready to actually step into this without any sort of victimization, without needing to fight anything, without needing to debunk or telling people they need to watch out for anything? Can you actually hold this energy? Because it's here. A lot of the work I'm doing in my private association, we're going to start to talk about all this stuff. The events I have coming up, the Retune to Source event in August, this is all we're going to be doing, is talking about this next wave. And I say retune because it's not return. You don't need to return to Source because you never left Source. If Source is everywhere and anywhere at all time, there is no pinpoint that says, well, this is Source at the beginning of time and here's Source over here. It's all God. It's all Source here and now. So we don't need to return to anywhere. What's happened is we have become disharmonic, meaning we have phased out of our remembrance of who and what we actually are, falling into the five senses and the beauties of this world. Okay. So whenever I talk about retuning to source, I'm talking about retuning your frequency bandwidth so that you're now in phase, in harmony with the life force that flows through all things. That's how simple it is, which is another way to say the thought forms that you're thinking create a vibration, create a pattern, create a energetic output into your world. Yeah, we would call this manifestation or materialization. Now, that's a frequency. Okay. Now, again, if the things you continuously play into, think about, read, look, talk, do, blah, interact with, are creating your hologram in real time, giving you feedback that then says, yes, this is true. Ultimately, everything's neutral. Everything is potential, complete potentiality. Okay. So what would be required is a retuning, which is I don't want to say death of the ego, because I don't believe your ego ever dies. I think your ego is, again, that plane of reality that allows you to have this physical experience. And it was a survival mechanism for a species getting ready to evolve, right? But again, we transcend the ego, okay? We can transcend the ego, and then we can work with the ego, all right? So now, as we invite and as this new energy comes online, we can now see that, okay, I don't have to try so hard. I don't have to try so hard, right? I can't wait to share some of the technologies that I've been downloading and some of the things that I've been discovering with you guys. I'm going to take a pause and check into some of these questions. You have touched on this before, but do you believe the Bible has been manipulated? Is it unhealthy to put the Bible above our own intuition? I think it's unhealthy isn't the word I would use. I would say it's a reality that you can choose to do. Everything is an experience, every single thing can be used to help you grow and evolve. Even the most sadistic, evil things on this planet are really there to help you evolve. So I don't think the Bible in and of itself is bad if you know how to read the Bible as more of an esoteric text versus a linear kind of, what's the word? It starts with an L. It's not literal. The Bible's not literal. Most ancient texts are not literal. It has everything to do with how energy moves, how the ether can be manipulated. That's all that ancient texts are about. I've read, the Quran, the Bible, Buddhist texts, the the Sumerian tablets, the Emerald tablets, the Kalantic sciences, all these things. All they have in common is how energy can be manipulated and moved around. That's the crux of any religion. That's the crux of any ancient teaching. It's all about energy, because it's all there is God. That's it. So there's only one game being played in the universe. It's like, do you know how to manipulate energy to benefit others? Yes or no? Like, it's that simple. It's like, that's all that's ever going on. So your own intuition, when built from your heart space and is centered into pure mind, is a very, very powerful tool. Imagination means I'm a magician. Imagination, I'm a magician. Okay, write that word out. You'll see what I'm talking about. So your imagination is the tool, aka intuition, that you can utilize to bring forth the reality of your liking. And God's not biased. If you want to be an asshole and hurt people, that energy will find its way back to you. It'll reflect back to you those decisions. If you want to be a beautiful soul who helps others, that'll reflect it back to you as well. Excuse me. So let me see here. So yeah, so much change, growth, evolution happening so quickly, but it's like going back to the most simple, pure way of being. Exactly. It's like I was messaging Rochelle at Divine Temple the other day, and I was telling it was like 12:30. I was like, look, I don't know how to explain this shit, but like, this is all so simple that it's hard to explain. Like, it's really not. It's like they've tried to make everything so complicated because it's so simple. And it's like divine simplicity. Um, when you really can tune into that wavelength and that waveform, it really is transcendental. It really is. So I feel that. Growth, yes, exactly. Yep. So growing, let's talk about that. Let's talk about growth a little bit. Um, God is not complicated, right? We've talked about how simple things are. I have a 8-month old. She's very simple. She's very simple. She understands what she understands from her perspective. Yet at times, I think she understands way more. Okay. As her physical body matures, her intelligence will start to downstep more and more into this density, right? So all that to say, she will start to grow and start to change and start to evolve. Spiritually speaking, anytime that we become stagnant and like this is all it can ever be, da da da, blah blah blah, this is it, where we can't grow. Remember, God and consciousness in the ether. For me, like here's my growth. I went from going to church every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, up until I was probably, I don't know, like 20 or something like that, 15. I don't know. I don't remember. I went to church all the time. I asked the question, what is God? God for me then was consciousness. Well, now I understand consciousness to be source, but now I understand that source is the ether. It's the fabric of reality. It's actually God and source have become so much more tangible to me than anything I've ever experienced. Meaning, it's not this ambiguous energy that's just kind of like floating around. I don't know what to do with. It's actually a very tangible field that I tune into all the time. And now I'm learning how to actually manipulate and coalesce that field and allow it to be beneficial to my everyday life and to the life of my friends and family. So for me, God is here now, right? So my growth has been, it's just, I feel like I've gotten closer and closer and closer to that prime creative spark, right? And I no longer feel as though base 12 is the end all be all. I no longer feel that base 10 is evil or bad. Not that I ever did before. I understand how base 10 operates, and I understand that I don't necessarily want to operate in that realm, but I don't feel like I need to be afraid of it. Like, watch out. Like, oh no, it's the Fibonacci sequence. Run the other way. Like I can now be like, okay, yeah, so that's phi ratio. Cool. I'm still operating on a frequency that I feel resonates with me. But it's like you can now see the construct. It's like you have to transcend it in order to really see it, in order to not be overcome by it. Okay, in order to actually work with it. So yeah, growth. Certainly. We got to let go of the things that no longer serve us. And this comes with our hardcore spiritual beliefs and our hardcore makeups that we have in our mind. Just 1 second. We're supposed to be doing a yard sale, so I'm going to have to hop off soon. All right. Yes, energy cannot be taken unless we allow it. And if our power was consistently taken as a child, we have to unlearn it. Well, this is kind of what I'm getting at, right? So this right here. There's nothing to unlearn. On one level, yes. And I'm speaking on different wavelengths right now, all right? Because again, one reality, another reality, another reality. So on a certain level, you would view that as having to unlearn something, right? On another level, there's nothing to unlearn because God never left you. Source never left you. What you're talking about is reharmonizing yourself to that spark, to that inner knowing that's always there. And so a lot of times we want to take ourselves through this tumultuous healing journey when all that's required is a simple retuning. Literally, sound and frequency are the name of the game. You can do this way faster than you think. And it's not about taking shortcuts. It's about understanding how things work. The ether is always present. Source is always present. So the unlearning is for our ego to feel more secure. But ultimately, as a spiritual being, as a energy form, that experience has been part of your journey, right? So, and again, if you are a primordial substance, nothing can be taken away from you. It doesn't matter what form you take. You know, we think in such linear fashion that yes, at times, even myself included, someone is taking something from me. That is not true. Okay, someone stole money from me. That's not true. Okay, on relative level, yes, on this plane of reality, they took something. On another level, on an ultimate level, that form, that thing took on a different form. Okay, and it's almost like you have to allow yourself to be very uncomfortable with this higher oscillating understanding in order for it to actually downstep into your physical realm. Yeah, how am I doing? Doing good. How's everyone doing over here? All right, let's see. Stop fighting the system, for true liberation comes from the silence in you. Yes, yeah, there's nothing to fight. You're not fighting anyone. You are resisting the presence of yourself. You're never fighting anyone. Even when you get into an argument, the saving grace in that moment would be you understanding who you are and remembering, and then responding from that space. I just read a book on the Buddha, and he talks about Mara and how Mara would show up. Right, he's in meditation and he's doing his thing, and then here comes this thought form. Here comes this thing, and the Mara is this kind of nagging energy. You know, you can call it negative thoughts, you can call it whatever you want, or you can call it fear. But he sits in it and he remembers and he responds with loving compassion. He doesn't argue with it, he doesn't fight with it. He understands what it is. It is a disharmonic frequency. So instead of trying to change a disharmonic frequency or trying to change a situation, trying to control the situation, we simply recognize things for what they are. We maintain our true sovereignty, our true independence, right? And we can respond now from a place of deep love and compassion. This does not mean what happened is going to feel good, doesn't mean that you're going to like it. It means that you're arguing, you're fighting with it, perpetuates it. And if your ultimate goal is to be at peace, be at union within yourself, then you cannot do that if you're combative with anything else. Does that make sense? Mm, mm-mm. No more giving power away to external distractions. Exactly. No more, man. Yeah, we don't have time for that. We got to get on to bigger and better things, guys. Like, honestly, that's kind of what I'm getting at here is like there's so much that's happening, and we don't have time to be playing around with like who's hijacked, who's manipulated, who's this. It's like we're here to create. So let's do what we're here to do. Let's stop getting caught up in the narratives and let's do what we're here to do. Right? Hey, Robert. All these things all these things were to be integrated, transcended, and moved beyond into a source self-directive way. Yep. How you choose to use the information to create the reality you desire as source creator. Exactly. That's it. That's exact. I can't say it any better. That's exactly it. All these things we had to move through were only the stepping stones. That they were the steps to our castle, right? They were tools we can utilize. All right, we got some base 10 over here. We got base 12. We got Saturn. We got the Lyrians here. Okay. As the source creator, how do I want to play with this? Okay, we're going to take base 10, put it here. We're going to add a little pyramid on top of that. We're going to put a little stardust here. It's like, have fun. You're a creative being. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to fear anymore. You are that which gives life to life. You are that which gives life to life, right? So start acting like it. Now you guys want to talk about like how do the ancients do it? The ancients, which really is not the ancients, it's just another parallel timeline that's happening in this moment. They understood how to work with the ether. Okay, they were spiritual scientists. There are beings in the cosmos that understand how to manipulate energy in a way that they can create worlds, that they can create literal universes. Because it's possible. It's not as hard as you think. But again, you have to be at a frequency to actually understand and integrate that technology, which is where I'm actually feeling like I'm moving into. Okay. Oh, what's up, Rochelle? I don't know. I think Michelle just joined. All right. So, yeah, guys, I wanted to keep this one short. I'll end it by saying we have some beautiful events coming up. Let's see. So tomorrow is actually Rainbow Academy orientation. I think we have one person registered right now, which is totally fine. But Rainbow Academy is our online academy for kiddos. That's happening tomorrow at 1 p.m. It's private, meaning that you have to be a part of our PMA, our association, because in this realm, right, we talked about this 3D realm. In order to move around in this realm, you need to do it through a private vessel, meaning um, you can do whatever you want as long as you're doing it privately. So, long story short, Rainbow Academy is tomorrow at 1 p.m. I would love for you guys to register. There's a 1 month package, and then there's a yearly package. More details are online at republicofeternations.org. And then, so that's tomorrow. And then on the 20th, I'm doing an in-person event called Spiritual Simplicity, where I'll be talking about some of the things we talked about here. And we need to collab about the kids. Yeah, Corky, shoot me a message and we'll dive in. Spiritual Simplicity, I'll be teaching and sharing at Path to Self here in Norwich, Connecticut. Then June 9th through 12th, I'm doing another private event in a private location in the White Mountains. So that's invite only. So if you're interested, let me know. And then on August 9th through August 12th through the 15th, I'll be doing Retune to Source event. So that's a 3-day event in person in the White Mountains, 280 acres of amazing wilderness. And that's going to be all about really diving into these technologies and going back to how the ancients would utilize sound, frequency, and the ether to bring in some really powerful energies to create with. So really getting back to what it means to be a source creator and retuning ourselves to that harmonic. So that'll be, yes, in August 12th through the 15th. The tickets are on sale now. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna start doing these lives on YouTube, and really starting to try to branch out. I could use some help in the financial department with some of the projects we have going on. So if you guys can donate, that'd be amazing too. We're always looking for new members to be a part of the Republic of Eternal Nations. And yeah, besides that, that is all I have for now. Remember, guys, this does not need to be complicated. It's okay to let go of old thought forms, and it's okay to melt into your primal knowing and to trust yourself wholly and completely. The secrets of the universe are revealed to the pure heart. They really are. And you won't have to fight it. You won't have to look for it. It'll be right there where you are. So, trusting this was helpful, guys. Love you all so very much. republicofeternations.org is the website for the events. Checking out any last minute messages. I think we're good. All right. Peace for now, guys. All righty. Woo. I'm going to actually share this. Thank you guys on YouTube who will watch this. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. It's my first time doing this, so trusting that this was helpful in some way, shape, and or form. All right. Peace.